we've got iPads and cell phones. What difference does it make? And that's a really good question, and the answer surprises a lot of people. Because the world that we know today is a reflection of the way we answer the question, who am I? Who are we? And when we answer that question based in separation, competition, and conflict, those answers are reflected in everything about our world and our lives. So from global economies that are based upon competition and conflict, corporations, and as we mentioned, the modern medical model, to our most intimate relationships. These ideas are so deeply ingrained within us that we literally program our bodies, sometimes unconsciously, to reflect these ideas of separation, competition, and conflict, and it comes up chemically in our bodies. The new science now has overturned 300 years of scientific thinking. New discoveries, and these are based in peer-reviewed science. So this isn't speculation or theory or hypothesis. This is peer-reviewed science, is now telling us, beyond any reasonable doubt, that we are deeply connected to our bodies. We're deeply connected to the earth. We're deeply connected to one another. And that the fundamental model of nature is based in cooperation, what biologists call mutual aid, not the competition and the conflict that we've heard in the past. And this changes everything. It changes everything because we live in a time of extremes in our world, and those extremes in the world are creating extremes within our lives. Perhaps more so now than at any time in our history, we've got to think and live differently than we ever have. And the new science that is confirming our most ancient and cherished spiritual traditions is giving us the reasons to change our thinking. And it's telling us what works and what doesn't. And the things that don't work, we don't need to do them any longer. And the things that do work, we can do a lot of them. And this comes right down to the core principles of us, our bodies, our relationship to our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs, and how they play out in our daily lives.
Back to connection and separation. You mentioned what works and what doesn't work.
So when science answers the question, who are we? They say that to do so well, we must first answer 6 separate questions, 6 sub-questions under the umbrella of who are we. So if we can envision an inverted pyramid, so the apex is on the bottom, and in the center of the pyramid, those 6 questions, and then to the left side, the old answers, and to the right side, the new answers. This will be a really good visual for us to understand why we've been led to believe the things we've been led to believe and how the new discoveries help us change those beliefs. We begin at the bottom of the pyramid. The most fundamental question when we ask the question, who are we, is where do we come from? What is our origin? That's the first question. The second question is what are human origins? Because they may be separate from the origins of other forms of life. The third question is about relationships. What is our relationship to our body? The next question is, what is our relationship to the world beyond our body? The next question is, what is our relationship to the past? Is it linear or is it cyclic? And the very last question is, what is our relationship to nature? So science says if we can answer these 6 questions, then we have the opportunity to answer the big question, who are we? Who am I? And what's so interesting about this is that for the last 300 years, we say that science began about 300 years ago when Isaac Newton formalized the laws of physics. So for about 300 years, science has attempted to answer these 6 fundamental questions, and their answers have led us to a story of separation. They've told us that the origin of life, it's random, that the origin of human life is random, that we are separate from our bodies and essentially powerless when it comes to healing our bodies or to even regulating the way our bodies function in the world. They've told us that we are separate from the world beyond our bodies. Not only do we have very little influence over what happens within, but we have no influence over what happens in the world beyond our bodies. They've told us that our relationship to the past is linear, and this is important because the belief is that civilization has happened one time.